Hi everybody, and thank you very much for getting here on time, and welcome to tonight's webinar where I'm going to talk about the fact that exams are over. When should you start studying again? Some people are not sure when to start studying again. That's the theme for this evening. So any questions, please ask. In terms of what I'm going to chat about this evening, well, first of all, I'm going to talk about, now that you've finished your September exams, do I do my next exam in December or do I do it in March? I want to talk about SBL and why it's a very different exam. Some of you might have come from the applied skills level. Some of you might have done advanced tax or SBR and be curious about SBL. So I'll explain why it's very different. Someone asked me a question in advance of the webinar about what changed in 2023. I'll briefly mention something on that. But I think most importantly, I'd just like to reinforce to you what successful students of mine look like. What do they do? So that in general is the theme of tonight. I'll try to keep it brief. If you have any questions afterwards, please just WhatsApp me. I respond to my students all the time on WhatsApp. If you have to go for whatever reason, you're registered on this video, which of course you are, then I will send you a copy of the recording. Okay? So, first thing, do I do my exam in December 2024 or do I do it in March 25? Well, to be honest, if I was you, I want to get my exams out of the way as soon as possible. There is still lots of time to pass this exam in December 24. So unless you're getting married or you've got something going on in November that's going to make your study approach more difficult, I would definitely give it a go in December 2024. Personally, I would be wanting to get my ACCA qualification as soon as possible to start earning a qualified salary and to get promoted, and just let me get qualified. That's what I'm interested in doing. So if I'm doing my exam in December 2024, I want to ask you a couple of questions. First question I want to ask you is, would you rather have over 11 weeks to prepare for the exam? Would you rather have 7 weeks to prepare? Because by not starting now, that's what you're facing. People say to me that, I can't really start studying now because I'm not sure what my September exam result is going to be like. Well, you can't do anything about your September exam result. It's over, it's gone. We can't change our past. So we can't do anything about September. So what I do to students who enroll on my course for a December exam is I let them flip for free. So what that means is, if you start studying SBL now and whatever happens in an exam, maybe your tax exam or your SBR exam isn't very good, you can postpone your SBL course to when you want to start it again. Absolutely free. No charge for that. So therefore, the reason I do that is you've just been studying really hard for the September exam. And the problem is, if you take too long of a break, you're going to lose that study habit that you develop for September. So by approaching study this way, it helps you keep the study habit. You've probably had a couple of weeks rest after working so hard for September. Personally, I wouldn't take any more. If you're doing SBL, get stuck into it to keep that study habit and to make sure you do well in the December exam. So that would be my advice. I would definitely be an advocate of doing it in December. Do it sooner rather than later. Okay. The next thing people were asking me would be why SBL is so different to other applied skills exams and strategic professional exams. What is the difference? Well, rather than me tell you what the difference is, let me give you some information from the examining team. This is what the examining team have said. They basically talked about that a strategic business leader exam is a very integrated exam which asks you to behave in the context of being a leader. It asks you to connect information rather than regurgitate facts. It asks you to behave like you behave in the workplace. It's practical. It's a role play. It's in the workplace. Which other exams which you would have done so far, probably not like that. Okay, so that's how it's different. if I was to summarize the key thing is the rationale. There is technical knowledge required, but if you were to regurgitate that in the exam, you would get no marks. We use the technical knowledge to apply and act as catalysts to help us discuss and evaluate things going on in a real life case scenario. Yeah, we think how we behave in the workplace. We also have to demonstrate professionalism. Yeah, so again, that's something we need in the workplace. And if you learn theory, a few people come to me having studied elsewhere and they say, I learn all of the textbook. It's not a learning exam, it's an applied exam. Yeah. Okay, what else? Well, it might be also worth just reminding you why Strategic Business Leader has been introduced. So prior to that, most accountancy exams would be quite technical in focus. And the problem is, in the modern world of finance, there's been a lot of change, and a lot of the technical stuff can now be done by bots. So we still need to understand the technical stuff, but we don't necessarily need to calculate it. What we need to do is we need to give insights to that information, yeah, and be, evaluating it, be maybe a little cynical about it, skeptical about it. Yeah, so to do that, we need new competencies. And SBL is introducing the young finance person to just be a bit more open-minded to these skills and competencies that are needed. Yeah, and these are going to be tested in a practical role-play way in the exam. That's why SBL has been introduced, to make sure you remain future relevant. So in terms of what it's going to look at, I'm not going to go too much into this. We'll maybe talk about this when we get stuck into studying a bit more. But there's a syllabus. Again, don't get involved in all the minutiae and learn all the technical detail. Understand about leadership, about governance, about strategy, risk, about control and audit, about technology from a strategic level, which means a more top level. And those red boxes refer to how we also will be tested on our professionalism, how skeptical, how good we are at evaluating, and so on. And yeah, that is going to be improved by practical exercises I'll do with you. In terms of what the exam looks like, well, in line with other strategic exams, it's what does the exam look like? Well, 2 weeks prior to the exam, unlike other exams, you'll get something called pre-seen material. What the purpose of this material is to make you familiar with the terminology and also maybe the industry. So you don't get it fresh on the day of the exam. You will have had a time to maybe think about various industries which have included sailing boats, football clubs, and so on. So yeah, we get a chance to do that. And then in the actual exam, you will get more material as well. The exam in terms of length is 3¼ like other strategic professional exams. There's 100 marks, 80 marks are for technical answers. The other 20 are for you demonstrating professionalism. Remember, you only need 50 to pass. To do that requires good exam technique. I will help you improve that exam technique through homeworks, through mocks, where you'll realize what I'm saying makes a lot of sense, because it makes sure you always will get 50 and therefore will always pass the exam. In terms of the questions in your exam, they'll all be based on that same scenario. And you need to kind of combine a bit of technical and professional skills. It's an applied exam. If you want to know about what gets given on the exam day, well, on the exam day, don't forget we get some pre-seen material. That can be up to 16, 18 pages long, but you have lots of time to digest it. You're then given a bit more material on the day of the exam, a few more exhibits, but they won't take too long to read, but they kind of complement what was given in the pre-seen. You'll normally get 3 tasks, which are asking you to evaluate various things related to the scenario. And you'll also be given a fresh version of the pre-seen. What kind of tools are you going to need to use? Well, the same tools you would use in the workplace. Reports, slides, briefing notes, those kind of things. What kind of information will you be asked to evaluate from the exhibits? Well, again, maybe a risk register, a newspaper article, minutes from a meeting, a chairman's statement, those kind of things. So just like we would do in the workplace. If you want to look at more on exam preparation, read my articles. Yep, I've written lots of stuff for the ACCA, and you can either go onto the ACCA YouTube channel, or you can have a look on my YouTube channel, where I give a hyperlink to all the articles I've produced for the ACCA. Yep, so that's a quick way of doing it. What else might I suggest you do? I think it's a good idea to do the Ethics and Professional Skills module. You have to do this, and I think it's a really useful module, particularly for SBL. So if you do it, it will just condition your brain to work in the right way. I got a question prior about how big were the changes in September 2023. Well, again, rather than, I have created a video for the ACCA on this, and you can find it on my YouTube channel, so you can have a look at that. They weren't that big, but if you want to know the detail, go to my YouTube channel. And then the final thing I wanted just to remind you is, what does a successful SBL student look like? I'm fortunate that many of my students apply great marks in their SBL exam. Basically, if you do what I say, you'll pass the exam. But just to remind you what you need to do, my students who are successful are really motivated. They've found a reason why they're doing this. Yeah, there's a reason. They're not just because they want to be an accountant. It's, they want to go traveling. They want to do something in life that's personal to them. So you need to find your why. If you go onto Student Accountant Magazine, there's also a whole article I've written on this for the ACCA. So as well as being personally motivated, students are very organized. Yeah. If you are organized, think about, well, how organized are you? Do you have a diary? Do you know what you're doing for each time of the day, whether that's work, rest, or play? Yeah. If you don't, you're probably not that organized. Yeah. And when we are organized and when we have a timetable, it helps us develop a routine. And the great thing about having a routine is it requires no willpower. We just do it. If any one of you have run a marathon, when you first start training for a marathon, it's quite hard. Yeah, but once you get up every cold morning and run however many miles you've programmed yourself to run, you just get out of bed and you just do it. So in the same way, if you get a study timetable, you just get out of bed and you just do it. Think about your work environment. It's good to psychologically send a message to your brain, time for work, time for play. So if we study in the same place every day, that is very useful. So just to summarize, personally motivated, personally organized, and also take an ACCA approved approach. I'll talk to you out there on ACCA and on ACCA SBL. Not all of it is very good. Yeah, a lot of it is from non-approved people. You can't stop these people spouting off on YouTube or on Facebook, but be very, very careful. I would recommend you to do a approved course. I run platinum approved courses, which are the highest you can have. If you don't want to do a course, at the very least, go on the ACCA Study Hub. Don't be listening to people on YouTube who aren't official people that the ACCA have asked to write articles or do videos for. So ask yourself what resources you're going to use to prepare for the exam. In terms of me and my background and who am I talking about all this stuff? Well, I have been lecturing for quite a long time, over 25 years, specialising in the area of SBL and related exams before it. Just because I've done that doesn't mean it's any good. I have won the PQ Lecturer of the Year award and have been runner-up twice for it, which is basically an independent award voted for by students. So yeah, that should, that's a personal reflection of me. I've had other PQ awards, but having a Lecturer of the Year award, is quite a good rubber stamp that I'm okay. ACCA employ me as their tutor guru, which means if you go on their YouTube channel, if you go on their website, if you go on Student Accountant, you see lots of articles, webinars, videos produced by me. And you might want to ask, why did the ACCA ask me to do that and not ask other people to do it? I'll let you work that one out. And also, as I say, I run ACCA Platinum approved courses, which is the highest approval you can get. Okay, so that hopefully gives some credibility to what I've been saying to you. And I just say this because I don't want you to waste your time with the so-called experts online, whose name you will not find on the ACCA website. You will not find them written any articles because they're not really experts. They've got a good YouTube channel or a nice website, but there's a lot of fake news out there, and you just need to not waste your time digesting it. Stick to the ACCA Study Hub or go on an officially approved course. Far better use of your time. If you want to contact me, I have various things you can read. You can look at my YouTube channel. You can WhatsApp me. You can listen to my podcasts. You can look at my website. All of those things can be found through my Linktree address. Questions. I've put a little slide on a couple of the questions that I have had in advance. I had a question on how long the exam is. If you might have just joined late, the exam is 3 hours and 15 minutes long. And no, it's not an exam you can learn theory from. So if you joined late, I will give you a recording of this. But there was a question I received of what does my platinum course look like? So I do various courses. I do a mock day. I do a revision course. I do a platinum course. And what a platinum course, it kind of gives you the knowledge. It kind of tests that knowledge through homework questions and mocks, and then it reconsolidates it through a revision phase. So let me tell you a little bit more about it. On my course, I have over 90 professionally recorded videos. I try to keep these to no more than half an hour to make it easy for you to digest. And my students over the course of the course will get 8 fully marked homeworks, and these will be marked by official ACCA SBL markers. You will get 3 fully timed mocks. So not like a little hour mock. You'll get a 3 times 3¼ hour mocks. And these won't be done on Word or Excel. They'll be done on the ACCA CBE platform because that is how it's done in your exam. Yeah, you wouldn't do or practice learning to drive on a bicycle. You'd practice learning to drive in a car. You're going to do your driving testing. That's why I make you do 3¼ hour mocks on the ACCA CBE platform, not Word, Excel, or any other kind of software, the same software that the ACCA uses. If you have any questions on anything whilst you're going through the videos, WhatsApp me. I support my students all day and all night on WhatsApp, right up until the day of the exam. If you do all of this and you just happen to have a bad day, well, if you did all the mocks, which help you get better, if you did all the homeworks, which help you understand, you can do the whole course again for free. Okay? Including the mocks and including the homework. But if you do that, you'll pass. Yep. How do mocks work? Well, mocks, as I've kind of said, 3 never be seen before mocks, all to an exam standard, pre-seen, given, etc. The final one will use, whether you're taking the exam in December or March, the actual pre-seen material. So I don't go to bed for 2 or 3 days and I write a mock reflective of the pre-seen material. Yeah, because I've been doing it a long time, I can kind of maybe tune into the examiner's wavelength and give you a mock which is very reflective of the information given in the pre-seen. They're done on the ACCA CBE platform, as I've already stressed. Really important you do that. And I don't just give you a mark, I give you comprehensive feedback. Yeah, so that means lots of comments, lots of things. That's really good. Need to improve on this. Use a better subheading. Don't do bullet points, or the way you articulate and you follow through with a so what and a why is really good. So lots and lots of comments, which I find far more valuable to help develop students than just a tick. I will give a full video debrief of the mock to show you that on SBL, I could have gone that way. Or if you went that way and you did that, you would have got marks. And equally, if you'd gone that way and said this, you would have also have got marks. Sometimes in exam kits and stuff, you just get a definitive answer. I'll give you a video debrief that shows their alternatives. I will also not give you like a big, massive answer that you sometimes see ACCA answers that are massive. They're not meant to be realistic. They're of a tutorial nature. I will write realistic answers that you could do in your exam. And also, after each mock, we will have a Zoom group chat. So you can ask any questions you like, in addition to all the feedback you'll get from official ACCA markers. So pretty comprehensive. Yeah. If you have a problem, well, I've just said, how can you contact me? You can contact me through WhatsApp support. Yeah. So I have someone starting this overseas at about midnight, 1 in the morning, and I will normally pick that up from about 6:30 and take it right through to about 11 at night. So maybe not quite 24/7, but almost. Right up to the exam day. And we'll also, after mocks, have group Zoom that. So we have chats. You don't have to join them, but most people do. Okay, so that's how people contact me. That's what a course looks like. My advice would be the December exam is not getting any further away. It's only getting closer. Yep, you have the opportunity to pass it, but I think you need to get on with it and start getting back into the habit. And if you do that, it could be your final exam. Give it a big tick. It could take you a step closer towards being a fully qualified accountant with, the ability to double or triple your salary in the next 2 to 5 years, and with the ability to have much faster career progression. So do something about it. Remember, need to contact me. You can contact me through these details. I'll send a recording if you joined late. Thanks a lot for listening, and I wish you all the very best.